I mean, one of the reasons I'm writing the book is you've got skeptics out there, have for centuries, who say they don't like the Christian faith anyway, and they say, "Oh, yes, ETI exists, and that disproves your religion," and that's one of the things that they would. He's going to be incarnate all this time. Oh, that's ridiculous. Is
that the primary objection from, say, atheistic skeptics of Christianity regarding aliens? What's the best objection you've heard from atheists about why the existence of extraterrestrial life would disprove Christianity?
Well, they have several. The least convincing is the one about, well, it's not in your Bible.
Sure.
We've already talked about that. The second one would be this. Science is showing us that it's a tiny little planet in this vast universe.
Yeah.
And you're really saying you've got a special relationship with him.
Yeah.
Which, of course, you say, as writers have during the history of this debate for centuries, wait a minute, value is not determined by size. And
Can I interject something there? I believe C.S. Lewis addressed this as well. He said that an atheist looks at the vastness of the universe and concludes that God must not exist because, as you say, we can't possibly be special. But he said, but if the universe were quite small, surely atheists would say if God existed, you would expect a much grander universe.
Yes.
So you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't.
It is. And with this, the same kind of thing. So you think this little ball of rock in the middle of all these billions and billion light years of things is that he's actually going to pay any attention to what you're doing or you or that kind of thing. And again, if you understand the faith from the inside out, you say, that's not an argument at all. In fact, it's our claim that we are special. If he really did come here, that it's proved by that all these other possibilities out there, and yet he still suffered and died here on this planet.
That would be like another analogy I'm thinking of is, suppose alien life does exist light years away somewhere. It would be like them saying, do you really think if humans existed, they'd be concerned about us that far away on that little planet? It's like, well, maybe. It turns out they really are. They're doing a podcast about it right now.
We make so many assumptions, really, about these kinds of things or about God's nature. So they would do that, and I think, again, that's rather easily used. One writer about it several centuries ago, I had so many in the book, I can't keep them all straight, but, made this comment about how, there's a sense in which this great glowing gaseous ball of fire that we call a star is magnificent and great, and everything is, on the big scale of things, is still not as valuable as a single human soul. The sun will die one day. The sun will burn out. The soul will still be existing.
The fetus aborted will not. Yeah,
it'll still be there.
Yeah.
So
I have a question that's kind of related to, the whole.
Just so you know, Neil talks to us in the end.
Sorry,
and that's totally normal.
But so I've heard before there's I don't remember what this is from, but the whole aliens, it kind of implanted the seed for humanity, or abducted an ape and gave it rationality, stuff like that. That to me doesn't seem very compatible with Catholicism.
Yeah. That's a good point.
The whole
I would agree.
Trained us to like gold, that kind of thing.
So there would be certain parameters if you're going to remain a Christian.
See how that could be come in, and at the same time, I would say, oh, really? How would you prove that? You have, there's one.
Certainly, if that were true, that would disprove Christianity, though.
Unless, and I don't want people to take this wrong, unless there would be some way to argue that that's how God did it. But I don't.
That
think
feels
so.
like a stretch.
But you have people who.
But Neil, one that's not a stretch is just the idea that there's an alien civilization that sent out a bunch of microorganism seed bombs.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Bombed a ton of planets with that.
That's the notion of panspermia that we actually all have the same origin of life. And there are people who say, no, that couldn't possibly be Christian. I'm open to the possibility.
But you bring up a good point, Neil. Like there are certain parameters as a Christian that we're going to want to have as we talk about aliens. So what would some of those parameters be? So if you're going to remain a Christian, what are some things that you can't think is true about aliens, if that makes sense?
I would say, number one, that they were not made by God.
Okay.
He's creator of all. Number two, that if they need redemption, that it doesn't involve God.
Is there anything about anything non-spiritual that that could be posited about aliens that would disprove the Christian faith?
I don't know, would disprove it, but the kind of thing that Neil just mentioned, to try to say that humans are actually created by a reptilian race, they usually think they're reptilian.
Yep.
And you see that and you say, no, I don't see how those could be compatible. And it's people listening to me that believe in it, they got to be angry at me, but I think that's kind of a fringe thing. That's not central to the UFO discussion. You have folks, there's one guy who's by his own admission, formerly Catholic, and he was in the CIA and claims that high-level folks in CIA and told him at one point that this is true, and that we have this whole line of hybrid reptilians who are now the elites controlling the world, and obviously he's not Catholic anymore. He talks about it as a past thing. And I can say, okay, if you really believe that, I could see why you wouldn't be. But so yeah, things like that, some kind of claim, like I was saying, that God didn't create us, but that there's no God and we are created by this alien life that came and tried to manipulate.
We couldn't
as
go
Neil
there.
said, that it's because you're saying they are creators and not God. Now, could life have come on a meteorite from another planet where God? Maybe so. And we know that the story of Genesis it's real and it's historical that he did have first humans and create life here. But the language is so poetic and figurative. It's a wide range for how he might have done it. The church's whole discussion with Darwinian evolution has kind of demonstrated that something we might not have suspected about how God did it could very well be the case. It doesn't change the fact that he did it.
All right, well, here's... Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.